On today's episode of Titus and Tate, I'm going to say it slow, Tate. I'm going to drink it in as I say it. March is finally here.
Wow.
We did it. We made it. We made it back.
You said it properly. I feel like every single year we see March is here, March is here, March is here. But as Luis, our producer, pointed out, we get a lot of Marches back because last year, in case you forgot, America, we did not have March Madness. We did not have a tournament. You and I had to turn down, we had to turn off, and we had to wait. We had to sit. And we had to wait. And we had to talk about all these made-up things that we try to come up with over an entire year. But finally, Titus, we did it.
I did do a solo podcast in my kitchen where I was looking into my phone as I was talking. And I
was sick at the time.
You were sick. And and Fred Hoiberg's coughing on the bench. We've come a long way.
Yes.
And we're here. Yes. And March is here. And the madness is here. And before the calendar turned to March, Tate, we saw a ton of madness this past week.
Yes.
We got some February madness leading into March. 18 ranked teams lost in the past week. One of these ranked teams, the Baylor Bears.
Yes, yes.
No longer undefeated.
Only one undefeated team left. We have to do an undefeated update. It is one team. A lot of teams wanted to zig, and they are the only team that can zag. Your Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Also part of the madness, the entire ACC is dead. And North Carolina kind of killed them.
Oh, man.
Beat Florida State, but also lose to Marquette, lose to Syracuse. It is a mess. I need you to explain it to me.
I hate to tell you, I cannot.
This has also been a theme all year, is me saying, Tate, please explain the ACC to me, because
what are we doing?
It makes absolutely no sense. We got good guys. We got bad guys. It is Tuesday show. It is the first Tuesday show of March. We did it, America. March Madness is here. All right, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, Tate, because, we are celebrating the start of March, so I want to live in the present. I want to enjoy this for what it is, and also, we learned a lesson last year. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. But at the same time, we're recording this Monday night, as we always do the night before our shows come out, so it is Monday, March 1st, as of this recording, and that means 5 weeks from today, Tate. It's hard I can't believe I'm saying these words out loud. 5 weeks from today, the Ohio State Buckeyes will shock the world.
I love that you even use the terminology "shock the world."
Shock the world.
Yes.
We're going to shock the world.
Jawan Howard's famous phrase, for those at home that don't know that, the coach of Michigan.
I just want to say this because I really don't want, we're already 5 years too late with our show, but I don't want the show to be just Ohio State, North Carolina, and you and I crying about it all the time. I'll just say this is my official statement on the matter. Ohio State's lost 3 in a row. First of all, I can't believe how many fan bases are outwardly excited about the idea of their team peaking in February. You morons, you absolute idiots. We know what we're doing in Columbus. We did not want to peak in February. So all of you that are celebrating your team's peaking in February, congratulations. Hang the banner.
We were worried about our coach of the program, Chris Holtman, hitting the wall.
We're not worried about it. Tate, are you aware that when you climb Mount Everest, you don't just go up in one fell swoop?
Yes, growth is not always.
You don't just go up to the top. You know what you do? You get up to the top. You
Peaks
make a little
and valleys,
camp.
Ebbs and flows.
You wait for the right time.
Luka Garza dominating Kyle Young.
So we got up there. We're surveying the land, and we said we're going to stay right here overnight. We're not going to climb the mountain
What is
yet.
that? Oh, is that a Jordan Bohannon 3?
And when the conditions are right, then we summit Everest. Everest is not ready to be summited yet, so get that out of my face. There are a lot of teams struggling.
Yes.
Not just Ohio State, not just your Tar Heels, who good luck making sense of them.
Saturday, I was on a high. I saw you on Saturday. In fact, we were supposed to hang out, go to the beach during the day.
Yeah.
The first half happens, and there's this moment where I'm thinking to myself, I should just go to the beach. Just give up on this game. Give up on the season. You already did the in memoriam for Carolina basketball in the last show. I admitted I pressed the panic button, but something deep inside,
not just this team,
on Carolina basketball trademark, the whole thing. And then I had this moment of whatever you want to call it, intuition. Something hit me and was like, just wait. Just wait to the start of the second half, because I see a lot of Carolina basketball in the DNA of Florida State. They're 11 deep. They got a lot of great athletes, but they're hit or miss, sometimes can be inconsistent. They're obviously the better version of Carolina, but they played like North Carolina in that second half, and I got hope. And hope is a dangerous thing, Mark Titus.
Who played like Florida State played like North Carolina
in the second half?
They suck.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
they played like North Carolina in the second half. It was like they watched North Carolina play, and they were like, I get what's going on over here. I could do that. I get screw up like that. I get turn the ball over like that. But regardless, North Carolina, that happens. I get on a high. I start to believe again. There's this triangle going around. The North Carolina, like, get our hopes up. then get dashed again, and then we start to believe, and it's a whole cycle. So anyways, we go through that whole thing, and North Carolina now goes into Monday night, and Buddy Boeheim, a man who has been waiting for his one shining moment. I know it's March. It's not going to happen in the tournament for Buddy Boeheim. He's not going to have a one shining moment like that. But this is going to be
fast. They might sneak in.
Maybe. He turned into Mike Dunleavy Jr. tonight. I told you this off air before this game. I like to think that Jim Boeheim, similar to the way that Kobe Bryant going into his last game, he was like, I'm taking all the shots. That was the game plan. For Buddy Boeheim, yes, get him to 1,000.
It reminds me of I don't know if I told this story on the show before. My senior year at high school, going into we were playing the number 2 team in the state. Mike and Greg were number 1, Lawrence North High School, Odin and Conley. The number 2 team was Pike. They had Jeff Teague was their best player. They also had a bunch of guys that I played AAU with that were on
Jeff Teague.
That were on my AAU team with Greg and Mike, and so I knew a lot of the guys and whatever. They were ranked number 2 in the state. We're in the state tournament, and we weren't going to win. We were playing at home, and I was like, we're definitely not going to win this game. This is going to be my last game of my career. And even if we do win, we got to play Mike and Greg next week, and they're going to kick our ass for sure. So, I was like, I can't believe this is going to be my last game. Coach comes up to me 10 minutes before the game tips, and he's like, I don't want this to be a big deal. I don't want you to I want to focus on winning the game. But you have 994 career points. I just found that out, and I just thought you should know that. And I was like, say no more. They tip off. As soon as I touch the ball, 0 pass, wet.
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Next time down the floor, pump fake, because one of my shout out Reese Cheatham. He works with Conley now, actually. Nice. Kind of does stuff with him. Reese was guarding me.
Oh, I've met him.
I think you've met Reese. Yeah, you know Reese. Yeah,
sitting here nodding along.
Reese is guarding me, and so he knows I'm a shoot. He knows my game. Yeah. I raise my eyebrows. Reese jumps out of the gym, take one dribble to the side, hit another 3, and I'm like, I'm gravy, baby. We ended up losing the game because I kind of messed it up in the end. But the point is, I identify with Buddy Boeheim. You tell a guy you're close to 1,000 points.
Or Garrison Brooks. We talked to Garrison Brooks when he got his 1,000 point.
There's something about that.
Season. Yeah,
there's something about that.
It's a nice mile marker.
Yeah. Anyway, so Carolina,
we're both down in the dumps.
But we're down in the dumps, but we're not alone in this.
Yes,
this is the point. This is what I wanted to get to. I don't want to make this Ohio State Carolina thing. I want everyone to join in.
We're past it.
We're going to play a lot of voicemails at the end. I decided we're going to save them for the end of the show. That seems like a fun way to go out.
Yeah,
is to play your sorrow. Keep calling in. 302-470-8283 is the number for our voicemails. We'll play some fun ones. So Ohio State has now lost 3 straight, as we said. Carolina, good luck making sense of them. Wisconsin has lost 4 of 6, and their 2 wins now that they lost to Illinois, who didn't even have Iota Sumu. That felt like a must-win game. I am completely out on Wisconsin because that felt like that's a must-win. That was a must-win.
Yes,
at home, no Io. You're reeling a little bit. They were favoring the game by like 5 points or something. They've lost 4 of 6, and their 2 wins were Nebraska and Northwestern. Although Nebraska just smoked Rutgers tonight, so
which says maybe more about frisky. Rutgers than
so Wisconsin, I'm out on them. Meanwhile, USC has lost 3 of 4, Tate. I don't know if you're aware of this. I'll talk about it on the
pointed the finger at USC and said, watch these guys. If you want to worry about West Coast basketball, watch them. Things have not been going well.
Since I looked in the camera and said Evan Mobley is a first-team All-American.
Yes, reminded you of Shaq.
He reminded me of a young Shaq. And I tried to do the people of Fox a little clip they could send to the USC basketball people, smash the retweet. The moment I did that, the wheels have fallen off for USC. Villanova loses at Hinkle Fieldhouse. I swear to God, I'm not saying this to sound smart. I'm saying this because I was so mad at myself when I was watching this unfold because I swear to God, on the last show we did going into the weekend, we had like games to watch.
Yes.
And I had written in my notes, Villanova's going to Hinkle Fieldhouse, and that is just like a house of horrors for Villanova.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what happened.
But it's some sort of basketball gods.
I wasn't going to say they were going to lose though. I was going to make a joke of it. I was going to be like, "Oh, Villanova, watch out," because Butler was 8-13 going to this game. So I was going to make a joke like, could Villanova lose? But obviously they're not going to because Butler sucks, and I'll be damned.
Not so fast.
Villanova loses. What else? Tennessee loses at Auburn. Bruce Pearl has beat Tennessee. Are you aware of this? 24 times in a row. I just made that up. But
honestly, I believe
that dude owns Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
Man,
something about the orange jacket.
They should hire him. Bruce Pearl, he would be a good coach at Tennessee. Don't you think he could turn that program?
Everyone's like,
sorry, Tennessee.
Wayne Chisholm, the headband.
Who else is reeling? Oklahoma just got swept in a 3-day span. We just watched that Bedlam. Great rivalry, by the way. Those two games were awesome.
Yeah,
Cade had 40 in the first game.
It's a good back and forth.
Yeah,
I feel
Austin Reeves is.
Yeah, Austin Reeves is something we should talk about. So in this
Yeah.
game, you have the number 1 pick, which is Cade Cunningham, who is, like you said, puts up a 40-piece, has a double-double, has the game that I think he needed.
In game one, not tonight.
In game one, yeah. In the there were 2 games in the series back-to-back, which was also interesting. I didn't really like it.
I don't think I like. We're about to see it again with like Michigan State coming up. They're about to play back-to-back. Yeah, I don't know if I love it.
It's fun in one sense. If you're an NBA fan, maybe you like it a little bit more.
I wouldn't like it as a player. I wouldn't like it to be Cade Cunningham to hang 40 on Oklahoma, and then you got to turn around.
And all those guys are mad at you, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to shut you down."
I mean, that's kind of what they did. And then he took over late because that's what Cade does as well. But
the closer,
dude, Austin Reeves is
an interesting,
confounding.
Yeah, right. I mean, you look.
He doesn't remind me of anybody. I mean, we were talking about this.
6'5".
Yeah,
he is an athlete.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
He dunks on people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But like, it's interesting because it doesn't jump off the page, right? You're not saying Austin Reeves, this guy's gonna go up and try to yam on you, but he does, and he can hang in the air. He's a confounding player. He's an interesting.
He was
player.
like a 46% 3-point shooter at Wichita State, then transfers to Oklahoma and
now, yes, it turned into JP Tokoto.
But like he's got like the Luka Doncic situation going, where like he makes threes, and when he makes them, you're like, that guy's unstoppable because he. And then you look up that like Luka Doncic is shooting like 21%. I don't know what like people are like Luka can't shoot, and you're like, what? I just saw him hit a step back for the win. It's like, no, he really can't shoot. And you're like, that doesn't compute. That's how Austin Reeves
Westbrook. Same thing.
Yeah, when he hits him, you're like, yeah, you can shoot. I saw him hit that one. You're like, yeah, you missed the other 7 he missed.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I watch it. But yeah, Reeves is unbelievable because there's not. I said that to you. I was like, because I think Fran was trying to say who Reeves reminded him of. He's like, you got a little shades of this.
He said Matthew Dellavedova was.
Yeah, I think Dellavedova was someone.
I mean, the hustle, maybe the heart.
I'm completely stumped with Austin Reeves. I have no idea who he reminds me of. This is one of the few times. That doesn't mean he's I'm not ready to say he's a unicorn, Tate. I'm not going there.
Here, I'm gonna say it. Ishmael Muhammad.
Bob Sura. A shades of Ishmael Muhammad.
A little bit of Ishmael Muhammad, a little bit of Bob Sura. That's who I see with him. You take that with comparisons are great, but Austin Reeves, Oklahoma in general. Are you worried about Oklahoma? Because
I don't know.
They are a team that I really liked. I love Lon Kruger. I think that they were, the new term that we see in college basketball. When you don't know about a team being, a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or Final Four, you just say second weekend. That's
a big window because that's like you get to the Sweet 16, you lose by 40.
Yeah.
Or you go to the Elite 8 game and it comes down to the wire and you lose at the buzzer. Like Purdue versus Virginia.
Yes.
Purdue was technically a second weekend team.
Yes.
And then
not
also
a Final Four team.
But they were a second weekend team. But then also a second weekend team could be like that one year that Florida beat Virginia by 1,000 and Virginia scored like 26 points. Like that's a second weekend.
Or it could be Butler, Tyler Lewis team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it could be anything.
We got here.
So
we're happy.
You just say anywhere in between.
Yes. Second window.
Florida Gulf Coast was a second
window. Second weekend team. And that's who Oklahoma kind of is on paper. I like them to be a real contender, but when you look at Oklahoma State, you like them more because they play these close games.
Yeah. Every game is close, dude.
That's how March works.
Yeah.
So, like, they have the experience. So, I almost favor them. If you look at both these teams and say, who do you pick going into March as we get closer to the tournament, it would probably be Oklahoma State, even though I like Oklahoma better.
I mean, listen, Cade Cunningham is better than Austin Reeves. I mean, when it comes down to it, we like Austin, but, like, that stuff does matter. I mean,
are you putting that on the record right now? Okay.
All right. Cade's number 1.
I'll tell KOC and the rest of the mock draft.
My mock draft, Cade 1, Austin Reeves 2, Evan Mobley 3. The G League guys go in the second round.
Get him out of here. Can't watch him play. If you can tell me where to watch the G League, please let us know. We want to watch him.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
I was getting texts about Jonathan Kuminga, and I was just acting like I'd seen him. I was like, yeah, love Kuminga's game. Looks older than he is.
Folks, one thing you should know about me is I'm definitely jonesing to watch some G League basketball.
I do want to watch Kenny Williams, I guess.
So are we worried at all about even just talking about Oklahoma State, maybe a broader discussion into all these teams in the Big Ten that are going to make it in that have a ton of losses? I feel like at a certain point when you lose a ton of games, even if you're quote unquote good and you're quote unquote these are quote unquote good losses, that's I do lose trust in you. So I can look at Oklahoma. I can look at like some of these teams that we're talking about, like even Ohio State losing 3 in a row. Like Ohio State's still ranked in the top 10. They're still in the running for a 1 seed. They're still one of a handful of teams that have a chance to get that last 1 seed. But all the losing matters, right? Like unless you're UConn, unless you're Jersey State UConn, as you're entering the NCAA tournament, do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Like if a team,
it eventually gets to your psyche.
it has to. Like if you have 10 losses and all of your 10 losses are to top 5 teams somehow, you've lost to top 5 teams twice or something, and like I still don't really trust you going into the tournament because you've lost 10 times. I think in that locker room there's got to be something going on. It's not feeling good. Ohio State's the exception. I believe we're just going to call it players only meeting.
Wisconsin, Missouri, Virginia Tech is a team that bounced back on senior night with Bisa Bede and some of those guys. So I actually like that. There's teams in that group. Like Iowa is a team that after Michigan, I was very down on them, but then they play Ohio State. Of course, I have to put it in context. There's Hunter Dickinson. Kidding. Hunter Dickinson, and he matches up well with Garza, bigger than Garza, sticks his chest out as we were joking about, gets him out of the way. But yeah, it's perfect. But Kyle Young's a bad matchup for him. So Luka Garza looks like the Luka Garza we expect. Yep. So my, position feels a little bit better about Iowa right now as a team. Kansas, sort of the same thing. You beat Baylor, even though Baylor has been, in protocols for 21 days. They don't look like the Baylor team we saw before that. So you take a lot of it with a grain of salt. But at the same time, Kansas wins that game. That's confidence, right?
Confidence.
I mean, same with North Carolina. You beat Florida State, even though you lose to Buddy Boeheim. You beat the best team in the ACC. Yeah. Now, we don't really know what that really means in the larger context of college basketball. Doesn't look good for sure right now, but there's nuances, of course, within all of these, quote unquote losers this week that you can find hope and you can kind of buy in like you are with Ohio State.
You just have to have a players only meeting. That's it.
Yes.
That's what solves everything.
That is it.
Players only meeting if you want to fix your program.
Kyle Young called the meeting.
Yeah, and that's what Ohio State's going to do. They're just waiting for the right time. I think I don't know.
Does Mac McClung call the meeting for Texas Tech? That's the real question, because I think so. I think
so. Oh, they beat Texas, by the way. So does Texas need a players only meeting?
Texas, I think when I hit the panic button for North Carolina, it was a little tongue in cheek, but Texas, I think
ready to hit the panic button?
I think it was. I think that moment in time, the West Virginia game, we're all going to point to that. I think that was when it finally slipped away from us.
Then they beat Kansas, though.
I know, but Kansas
there's
is
something to like you have to string together wins to believe that you can string together wins, and you have to get used to win 4 in a row.
I hate to say
when the tournament comes,
you got to win 6 in a row. You got to win 6 in a row. Like that's the game. That's how you win the tournament.
All right, let's get the good guys and bad guys. So,
perfect.
Your good guy of the week is also my good guy of the week.
Yeah, this is always fun.
This rarely happens when the stars align, but neither one of us wanted to back down. By the way, we both came to the table. I said, "Here's my pick. You said this is my pick," and we thought, does one of us need to back down? And I don't think so. I think we're in agreement. I'll let you do the honors.
We were asked once upon a time if we had to, identify a program in college basketball, who we would be as Titus Tate. And unanimously, you and I looked at each other and we both said at the same time, 3, 2, 1, Baylor. So I say all this with fuel, like fueled with love. You know what I mean?
That's one of the best things we've ever done. It's like it makes so much sense. And as we're seeing Baylor, their season play out, it's so true.
Undefeated from the start.
Undefeated, but then get COVID, and then they come back and they're not quite the same. That's us, dude.
That's us. Everyone's like, "Where's the magic?
Where's OSP?
Where's the shooter?
Where's the tattoo?
Where's the straight shooter, Kyle? Where is he?" And 21 days. They're on a break. They are, they were the number 1 shooting team in the country, right?
Yeah.
Before they go on COVID break, and then Scott Drew, who has been a good guy. I mean, he probably is the basis of what we've talked about when you think of a good guy. Not that he's gotten fired, but Scott Drew checks all those tenant points.
I saw an article call him the Mr. Rogers of college basketball.
Good guy. That's a good guy.
That's a pretty good guy.
So Scott Drew, in that sense, we've been waiting for the week, and it's not to say that Baylor, hit the panic button. We're concerned about, the full picture of who you guys are as a team, as a contender. But we do have to say, this is the first chance we have to jump out and say, Scott Drew, you're a good guy.
You're a good guy. Yeah.
So that's all it is. You know what I mean? I'm not really worried about Baylor. He said that the COVID protocols were kryptonite, quote unquote. Those were his words, Scott Drew. And I agree with that. I mean, it's tough to come off that. They struggled shooting in the first game.
The Michigan Wolverines, Tate, were on pause about the same time. They come back. They smoke Iowa.
Yes.
They beat Ohio State.
See,
they beat
to them, the protocols is
Wisconsin
secret stuff and not kryptonite.
The difference, I will say this, and every Michigan fan will take this as me on them because that's just how they take everything that comes out of my mouth.
Yes.
I'm defending Baylor because Michigan did not have, to my understanding, Michigan's players did not have cases. Like they went on pause because it was like the health department in the state of Michigan.
It was the school,
They're like the school, like the whole
athletics department
but
as a whole.
The team itself didn't really have cases, I don't think. That's my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Baylor, I saw as many as 8 guys on the team had COVID. So I don't know. Maybe that's an excuse. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Kansas played them well the first time when they played in Waco. Kansas played them well, and Baylor was Baylor back then, and they played them well. So maybe Kansas still wins this game. I don't know, but Baylor did go 6 for 26 from the 3-point line, and I don't think that's happening.
They shot 42% as a team, before they go on break. So you have to think there's some sort of return to the mean that's going to happen with this team as far as them being able to shoot. But there is that question of, have we lost something here? Because Iowa State is the same thing. I can't remember exactly what the number was, but I think they made 5 threes in that game.
Yeah.
And they took much more than that, maybe 25 plus. So it is not the same Baylor team we saw before.
I have 3 reasons why Scott Drew is my good guy pick. It's not just that you lost, Scott. There are 3 reasons. Number 1, Baylor has to get out of the way for the Michigan hype train to roll along, right? So the Michigan hype train is, I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this before, Tate.
Yeah, shoot them to the moon.
The Michigan fans are foaming at the mouth in a way that, like, Gonzaga's undefeated and they've beat every team except West Virginia by double digits. I looked it up today. I think like 16 of their 24 games they won by 15 plus. They're not just winning by double digits. They're wiping the floor with everybody to the point that, like, if Gonzaga is if Gonzaga's up 5 at halftime, people like freak out and they're like, oh my god, they suck. Yeah. And then they win by 26, and you're like, but they
remember when they were only up by 5? Yeah.
Gonzaga's killing, and Gonzaga fans are not foaming at the mouth at a level that Michigan fans are.
No.
The hype train is full steam ahead, and for good reason. Michigan deserves to be up there, but they're a top tier team, and part of that is Baylor's got to get out of the way. Someone had to get out of the way. Like we've had this the situation where Baylor and Gonzaga versus the field, as we said. It used to be Gonzaga versus the field. We introduced Baylor into the mix. Then Michigan's come storming along. And I don't like the idea of 3 teams versus the field. Yep. That feels weird. At this point, you're getting there's too many seats at the table. Someone's got to go away if we're going to do a 2-team versus the field situation. So Scott Drew's a good guy because he's like, you know what? We'll step back.
Yes.
We'll let the Michigan hype train take our place.
It's a standoff, right? Yeah. It's in the office. Michael Scott, Andy and Dwight, they're all looking at each other and they're trying to figure it out. And, that's where basically this team and this situation that they are in, Baylor, they are down to be the good guys. These are good Baptist guys, that are the Baylor Bears. Like, they're just like, come on in.
That's number 1. Number 2, Blue Bloods are supposed to be dead this year.
Yep.
So Scott Drew said, I'm going to help Kansas out.
Yes.
Kansas is very much alive. Mm-hmm. The Jayhawks what are they going to be like? They could get like a 3 seed in the tournament. Conceivably.
They have people already turning and saying that they're a dark horse, contender.
Yeah. And does this happen if Scott Drew doesn't let Kansas beat him? Probably not. So that's a good. He's reviving the Blue Bloods. Number 3, and this is Galaxy Brain, so stick with me. Scott Drew is aware that the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers are college basketball's last undefeated team. Now, he understands if Gonzaga and Baylor were to meet in the title game, like everyone suspected would happen before Michigan got really good out of nowhere. He understands that if they were to meet both undefeated, then the 76 Hoosiers are done. And we're doing, and they would be done. The legacy of the 76 Hoosiers is undone right down the road in Indianapolis, right in the shadow of Bloomington.
Yep.
And Scott Drew is a man who is from Indiana. He went to Valparaiso High School. His dad is a Valparaiso legend. He went to Butler University for undergrad, was on the Butler staff, was on the Valparaiso staff. This is a man that understands the importance of the 76 Hoosiers. Yeah. And he said, I'm gonna get the blemish on our record now. We're still trying to win the national title. Don't get me wrong. Like, Baylor's not throwing in the towel in the season. What they're doing is they're saying, give us the loss now. Then when we win the national, when we beat Gonzaga, we're the heroes.
Yes.
Everyone in Indiana loves us. Mm-hmm. And guess what? They hate Archie Miller.
Yes.
And I just won a national title in Indianapolis to preserve the legacy of the 76 Hoosiers. And all of a sudden, the Indiana Hoosiers need a coach. Come home, Scott. Brad Stevens, you're old. Get out of here. We want Scott Drew. That's what's going on in his head. All of that was going on in his head as his team shot 6 for 26 from the 3-point line.
I could only imagine Homer Drew's kid going to coach IU. I feel like that is, some deep level,
That's
Hoosier. That is Hoosier hysteria at its finest. Brad Stevens. In fact, if Brad Stevens saw this transpiring, I feel like you would have to get in front of it.
He's going to stop. He's going to find a way.
He's going to literally step down in the middle of the season. Everyone's gonna be like, "Where is this coming from, Brad?"
And we get a
Are you watching
March?
March?
Scott Drew.
Are you watching the Baylor Bears right now?
I'm telling you, if Scott Drew if Gonzaga's undefeated, Baylor makes it, and it's Gonzaga Baylor in the title game, and Baylor beats Gonzaga to end the undefeated season, preserve the legacy of the Hoosiers. It's an Indiana boy doing it. Every IU fan's like, I thought I wanted Brad Stevens, but honestly.
Give us Scott Drew.
I gotta get a little bit of Scott Drew.
I'll take Homer's
Give me a little
kid.
bit.
Yeah, that's it. In the same conversation as this, talking about having the 3 teams and having a team move aside and talking about the one-way train to success and basically get the F out of our way. We're going to the top. You don't get it. We're better than you. Like that whole attitude. It reminds me of something that happened. And this is a full-scale conversation. My mom in 2017 at the national championship game, prior to the game, gets on an elevator with my sister-in-law. I'm not with her. I'm already at the stadium, but they're going, they're coming, they're on the way. And two Gonzaga fans get on the elevator with her. She's wearing North Carolina gear. They're wearing the Gonzaga gear. The game is, a couple hours away. And, they looked at my mom and my sister-in-law and they laughed and they said, hope you guys are ready. It's going to be a long night of crying. And, get off the elevator, they leave. My mom gets to the arena, and it's basically like these Gonzaga fans, they're not acting like they've been there before. And, they're probably going to have a rude awakening tonight, And of course, as is history, as things work out, the basketball gods delivered a team that is set on redemption after dealing with a Chris Jenkins shot, a guy whose, brother played on the other team. If you know all the history between Chris Jenkins and Nate Britt, you know what I'm talking about. They win the championship. And those Gonzaga fans, I think they went home. You said they're not as boastful as these Michigan fans who were on the one-way train because they had something happen to them, right, Mark Titus? The train got off the rails, right? We were all going. We're full steam ahead. We're all good. And then I saw this note from a good friend of our program, Mike Rutherford. College basketball's last 3 national champions all finished number 2 on KenPom side of the day, the year before winning the title. Number 2 last year on KenPom. You're Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking to myself, who's number 2 right now? And I look up on KenPom. You're Michigan Wolverines.
Right.
And I'm saying you may be 1 year away. You may be 1 title game away in the same way that Gonzaga was in 2017. Yeah. And I know that your time will come. Juwan Howard, I will say this. I believe more than I maybe even believe with John Beilein, even though that's probably crazy to say.
What?
I believe that he will win a championship there. Yes, I do. I really do. There's something deep inside of me that it all aligns. When you think of all the
Coach, if you're listening, I do not co-sign this.
Well, this isn't about Coach Beilein. This is about the basketball juju and the gods that are involved in the game. Chris Webber, taking that timeout. First, he traveled, of course. We all know that. It should have been a turnover, but then he takes the timeout. That somehow in the world of basketball has to work itself out, right? Michigan's got to get, Juwan Howard has to get right. He has to have this moment. I feel the clarity is going to come at some point. And what I'm saying is Gonzaga, they got there. They realized it doesn't always work out, even if you are, quote unquote, the best. You said it yourself. You thought Gonzaga was the best team in 2017, right?
They were the best team, yeah.
Okay,
I believe they were the best team in 2017.
But what happened?
Yeah.
They didn't win. They're not the best team.
Yeah,
so Michigan,
the refs fouled out Zach Collins in like 10 minutes.
Michigan. The same thing.
That's what happened.
You could go watch the game, folks. My God. If you think that Gonzaga was better than Carolina, my God, get out of my face. Learn basketball. Come back to me. We'll talk about it. I remember Colin Cowherd, not to throw him under the bus, but after that game, was like talking about North Carolina and, how it wasn't a good national championship game, all that sort of stuff.
No.
And I felt a similar way because I'm like, this game, like, get the refs out of my face. Like, I don't want to see that.
It was bad both ways.
But it doesn't matter. Exactly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Gonzaga, I think they're going to get over the hump. Michigan, I think they're going to get over the hump. And all that is to say, Baylor, Good guy of the week. They moved out of the week.
Good guy.
They moved out of the way.
This is why we're the Baylor.
It should be Baylor.
Dude,
good guy of the week. They moved out of the way.
This is the Baylor. So Baylor, as I like to point out,
a title team.
As I like to point out with Scott Drew, he has never won a power conference anything.
Never
won a regular season.
Won
NIT. Never been to a Final Four. Never won Big 12 regular season. Never won Big 12 tournament. This was supposed to be the year. Now Baylor's going to win the Big 12, right? Ish. Does it count? They only play West Virginia once. They got West Virginia coming up. When do they play? They play tomorrow, Tuesday. They're playing West Virginia on
now,
Tuesday.
maybe tonight.
So at the end of the season, West Virginia will have played 17 games. Baylor will have played 14. So Baylor's probably technically going to be the champion, but if you're a West Virginia fan, you're going to be hot about it. If West Virginia beats Baylor tomorrow, you're going to be hot. You're going to be like, and West Virginia runs the table from here. You're going to be hot. You're going to say that's our Big 12 title.
I'll say this as well. West Virginia and Bob Huggins, we had him on at the start of the season. We did our preview show, and we joked with him. This felt like a Final Four type year. West Virginia,
they're looking good, man.
They're a good team.
Yeah, they're a good team to the 1 seed line.
I'm going to knock on wood for West Virginia fans, but yes.
Anyway, the arc of Baylor is just like
they moved out of the way. Why did they do that?
It's
because they're good guys.
It's a bummer, dude. Because they last year the tournament's not playing. Last year they didn't win.
Yeah.
They didn't get to win the Big 12 tournament. Kansas won the Big 12 regular season, even though Baylor was a top 5 team all year. This year, they're technically going to win, but there's a massive asterisk. So the way you get rid of the asterisk, Tate, is win the Big 12 tournament.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. But
let's be honest. If you win, as we both know, like we said, you have to win 6 to win it all.
Yeah.
If you win the tournament,
if you win the Big 12 tournament, you're probably not going to win.
You're not going to win the title.
So they're going to lose in the championship game to Kansas or
Oklahoma
Pick a team out of a hat.
Yeah, I mean,
in the Big 12, how deep that is. It's tough, man. That's why we're the Baylor, though. That's you and I.
Yeah.
Like we get there and we're like, we might have something here,
and then the algorithm says no.
We'll take that back. Yeah, Scott. All right, that's it. Oh, I had this comment. We were talking about Gonzaga, Michigan. I want to make this point because it's funny to me that Michigan.
All that to say is that Gonzaga and Michigan, I believe that you're going to win a national championship.
Yeah, they are. I mean?
Yeah, that is the whole point.
I meant to piggyback on your conversation about like Michigan fans, and they have this bravado. Gonzaga fans were humbled recently, but Michigan fans, I mean, they were humbled in 2018 as well.
No, but there's like a once you actually know that you can do it, right? There's like Illinois in 2005. Like they knew that they could do it. Like we are the best team. We are going to do it. There's such a bravado and confidence about your team that like when it doesn't happen, like 2008, a perfect example, North Carolina. I'm like, there's no way we're losing. And then Kansas is up 40-12. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I just got to hit. Everybody's got a plan till they get hit in the mouth is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that is, throughout the college basketball fandom, the whole scope of the thing. This Michigan team in 2018 did not think, oh, Duncan Robinson and these guys are going to win
I don't
the
think
championship.
I think they were along for the ride.
They were along for the ride.
And it's like, wherever this takes us, it'll be fun.
Now they know. Now they know that they could.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I wanted to make this point about that I'm finding hilarious from Michigan fans is that when they discuss their team versus other Big Ten teams, the other Big Ten teams are garbage.
Yeah.
Michigan is in a class of their own, obviously, and I'm not saying they're not. Like Michigan, they've beaten Iowa, they've beaten Ohio State, they got Illinois tomorrow. We'll see what happens there, but they've gone on the road and beaten Wisconsin.
By an average of 10 points.
They won in Mackey Arena. Purdue's up there.
They're beating people bad.
They're beating people bad. They deserve to be in a class of their own. So when Michigan fans, you catch Michigan fans online arguing with, say, an Illinois and Ohio State fan, pick your team from the Big Ten. They will lead you to believe that the Big Ten is garbage and that they are the only team that is worth anything in this stupid conference because we kick all of your asses. We are so much better than all of you. And maybe they're not wrong, Tate. Conversely, they then pivot to discuss who should be the number 1 overall seed, whether it be Gonzaga or Michigan. And suddenly the argument becomes that the Big Ten is great.
Yes. Northwestern would finish second in the WCC. Yes.
And that juxtaposition of like the Big Ten is garbage and we've proven it because we've killed everybody, but also the Big Ten is a gauntlet.
Go to Lincoln, Nebraska and beat them on a Wednesday night. Is that what you're saying to me?
No, I don't know who's better. But Gonzaga has to be the number 1 team. Gonzaga is going to be the number 1 seed. No matter,
they have to be. They're undefeated.
They're undefeated.
It doesn't matter
unless you think Gonzaga will lose by 18 in the barn because Michigan lost by 17. I mean, I don't understand Gonzaga. I think the argument holds water in terms of the scheduling, or in terms of the conference strength. First of all, Gonzaga played Gonzaga played for a national title contender, a team that enters the season ranked number 1. They put on paper. Now, it didn't end up being like super difficult, but on paper, that was the most difficult non-conference schedule I can ever remember seeing.
Yep.
With Baylor,
Yep.
Kansas, West Virginia. It's insane. It's insane what they signed up to play. They said, we'll take on all comers. We know we're not in the strongest conference. We'll take them all on. They killed everybody. West Virginia is the only team that even came kind of close, and it's because Jalen Suggs, you know,
we didn't know. We thought he maybe tore his Achilles.
He you know, but even if you don't want to throw that excuse in, like, fine, they still beat him by 5. They still, and West Virginia might end up being a 1 seed. And then Gonzaga, so now you go into the conference play, and so you want to look at the WCC run and say Gonzaga hasn't really played anybody. You know, the joke would be they're playing high school teams. They're playing our Sisters of the Poor, whatever it is. They're beating the snot out of them, Tate. If this was a case of like San Diego State last year, Malachi Flynn hits a buzzer beater to send a game against San Jose State into overtime to keep their undefeated season going, right? You remember when that happened? Yeah. That is not happening with Gonzaga. They're not like, it's not like they're down 7 with like 2 minutes left against Pepperdine and they have to go on a run to like preserve the undefeated.
I was just thinking about San Diego State. I mean? That was we were at a game.
But San Diego State, it was fun. Like when they were undefeated, they went undefeated last year, as we know. They never lost. Ever. But they had a lot of games where it was like they were down and they had to rally late. And Gonzaga does not have that. They're kicking everybody's ass. So what you're saying is like what else do you want them to do? I don't know. If you're Michigan, to me, it's a stupid discussion. Michigan, just take your 1 seed. You're fine. You're good.
You're good.
It's all irrelevant.
But that's what I'm saying.
The number
if
one
it's your
overall
first
is
time here at the party, you want the number one. You want it all. You want it all.
It's all irrelevant. You're going to play whether Gonzaga has the 1 overall or Michigan. It doesn't matter because you're going to play them in the title game if it all fleshes itself out. I mean, I guess it'd be like who plays Baylor in the Final Four. I guess is what we're fighting for. But I don't know. Gonzaga's undefeated. They're not going to lose.
I will say this. If we get to the point where, there is a Michigan-Gonzaga title game and Michigan blows out Gonzaga, I would be shocked. But I also, you know what I mean?
I would be shocked if Michigan blew out Gonzaga.
But it also would lead to a confirmation bias of the fact, like this entire season, like Wisconsin is still ranked, right? That's how much the Big Ten has been able to use media manipulation to act like they are the greatest thing since sliced bread. So that is where we are in the basketball sphere. So if we get to the tournament and these teams that are in the Big Ten do not deliver and don't win a championship and don't make, at least 2 teams to the Final Four or at least 1 team to the Final Four, there's going to be a lot of people in the college basketball sphere that's going to point the finger back and say, what?
You want to talk about Baylor? You want to talk about Baylor, like
people like Clemson fans.
Baylor not really fitting in and needs Baylor stepping back from the narrative, so to speak. This is a must-win tournament for Gonzaga, reputation-wise.
Yes,
because this is the best team Gonzaga's ever had. They get an unfair reputation for choking in the tournament. I have no idea why this happens. Gonzaga does not choke in the tournament. You're a moron if you think they do. Go look up their runs that they've had in the tournament. You're an idiot, but. Nonetheless, because they've never won a title, they get a reputation for choking in the tournament. On the other side, the Big Ten, who has been absolutely dominant all season in terms of, like, as you said, narrative, media attention. The fact that Ohio State can lose 3 in a row and still be ranked 7th.
Still be a 1 seed.
Still probably be a 1 seed. Illinois, obviously, Iowa. Like, there's 4 teams in the top 10 at all time.
Rutgers.
Michigan State goes through the run they go through. Now all of a sudden they beat a couple teams, and it's like Michigan State definitely in.
Yes, a lot.
This has become a must, and the entire tournament is happening in Big Ten country. This has become a must-win for the Big Ten.
Yes,
it's probably Michigan is the best chance, but if it's not Michigan, Illinois, Ohio State, Iowa, one of them has to win it.
Yes,
it's been not since 2000 as the Big Ten won. When it happened in 2000, it happened in Indy, by the way. So that's interesting. And Baylor does not that's the shame of the Baylor. That's why Scott Drew's the good guy, because like Baylor, if Baylor doesn't win, no one's like. The programs, you're just kind of like, all right.
But if you're Gonzaga, I will say this, and this is, if you're a Gonzaga fan, die hard, you think you're going to win it this year, this is the time to earmuffs, turn it down, skip forward, whatever. If you're Gonzaga, right, the only thing that has to terrify you about this whole situation is that you're not playing the NCAA tournament. You're playing the Big Ten tournament. We're all going to Indianapolis. Yep. We're all going to Big Ten country. And we are all going to be in a place that all of these teams are familiar with. They're going to be set up, and it is going to be a different experience. And if you're Gonzaga and you already had your coach say on the record the last time you were in Indy, you were in quote-unquote Siberia.
That's a good point.
That to me gives some red flags to say
I would Spokane, Washington called Indianapolis, Siberia. Get out of here. Dude.
Well, I'm just saying.
I mean, get out of here.
I'm just saying. He was saying because of COVID protocols, you couldn't be outside. You had to be in a hotel room. Yada yada yada. But regardless, the fact that is in the ether, it's like going down to the bubble, right? This is an environment that is favoring the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The big schools that are there. So if you're Mark Few and you're a Gonzaga fan, you really wish that this was a normal tournament. Because if this was a normal tournament, I will say this. This is a normal tournament where we're traveling around, regionals, everything. Gonzaga's going to win national championship, 100%.
I think I agree with you, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think I agree with
100%. But you throw in it's the same thing as like, you throw in the situation of a controlled environment in Big Ten country.
Yeah.
And I could see three Big Ten teams being in the Final Four. Would not shock me at all.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And the Big Ten has to win.
And somehow
the Big Ten has to win.
One team that doesn't
win.
And
they don't win it. They all lose to Gonzaga. Yeah. The Big Ten has to win the national championship. I think I mean that's where we've arrived. The Big Ten must win at this point.
20 years.
Especially like the ACC is garbage. The Big East, like Villanova, is always. I mean, we didn't bring up Xavier beats Creighton. Xavier's going to make the tournament, but like Creighton does not look the part. Villanova does not look. Nobody in the Big East looks the part. It's a conference full of bubble teams plus Creighton and Villanova who aren't awesome right now. The Big 12 is interesting, but I don't think like it's obviously deep and very good. But some of these teams are falling out of favor. Texas Tech had lost a few in a row.
West Virginia is probably the hottest.
West Virginia's hot. Yeah, I would say it's Gonzaga, Baylor, the Big Ten. Throw in West Virginia.
Yep. Seriously.
And that's about like where we're at with the greater picture. And so as a conference, if you're thinking of the Big Ten as an entire conference, not a collection of individual teams, this is the best chance they've ever had to break the streak. This is the best chance. Even though Gonzaga is undefeated, even though Gonzaga has 4 guys that are top 5 players at their position, even though I think if Gonzaga played Michigan, they have an advantage at 4 positions probably. Michigan still has to win that game on behalf of the Big Ten. You have to win at Michigan. I think they could.
I think they would. I think in Indianapolis, if they play Gonzaga in Indianapolis, Michigan will win. I do think that. I will say that. 100%.
All over the place.
That will happen in Indianapolis, but not in a normal tournament.
100%.
100%.
Everything you say is 100%.
Oh, man. Let's do it.
All right, bad guys of the week. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, this is easy. A man that we love on this program. He's a man that I've talked about. He was my bad guy of the week, I think, 3 weeks ago. Kelvin Sampson.
Okay.
So we just talked about all the teams that are, teams to watch out for. Houston is
not a team to watch out for me. Not a team. Not a team.
Hear me out. So bad guy of the week, they blow out Western Kentucky, which is Rick Stansbury. And this is why he's the bad guy of the week. Rick Stansbury is the real, he is the bag. When you think of like, what is everything that checks the box, it is Rick Stansbury. You can go do your research there, but that's what it is. Charles Bassey, perfect example.
I like to have some fun with it. When I type out Rick Stansbury, I make the S a $sign.
100%.
I do that on Twitter and people are like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Shout out. That's a great joke, man.
As I was thinking about Western Kentucky, it made me think about Patrick Sparks, and I got into a whole Patrick.
I saw you do.
Dude, I love Patrick Sparks. Shout out Western, the Hilltoppers. But anyways, Houston blows them out and UCF by a combined 70 points in their past 2 games. 20th win of the season for Kelvin Sampson. It's the 23rd.
USF, not UCF, right?
USF. Did I say
South Florida?
Did I say UCF?
It's okay.
USF.
It's confusing.
Yeah, South Florida, you know what it is. Skip Holtz coached there, football back in the day.
In 2007, they were ranked in the top 5 of football.
Yeah, they were balling. They were the original UCF before. Yeah. Man, that was a great time for Conference USA football. Anyways, 23rd time in Kelvin Sampson's coaching career gets 20 wins. I thought that was a nice little mile marker because then it pointed back to, you guessed it, the Jordan brand. Number 23, 23rd season doing this. They're Jordan school. They were putting all the promo stuff out. And I was just like, 1, you beat the bad guy, Mr. Rick Stansbury.
Right.
2, you get your 23rd 20-win season, which is great. And then 3rd, it goes back to the brand, the jump man. And Kelvin Sampson, doing great, doing good things for the bag. And also, I mean, Houston has a chance, they're saying, to make a run for a 1 seed. Do you like this?
No.
They lost to ECU. They lost to Tulsa.
No.
But there's a push because there's a lot of people that have not watched them play. And Quentin Grimes, we both like Quentin Grimes.
There was a sliding doors moment that
33
happened
points
in 2018 when Swaggy Poole hit a shot to beat
22
Houston.
points in 20 minutes against USF.
Sliding doors moment, Tate. The door slid. Michigan went this way. Houston went this way.
Both Jordan schools.
Yeah. But if Michigan went if that shot doesn't go down, maybe Juwan Howard is at Houston. Obviously not. But maybe Kelvin Sampson Houston is doing what sliding doors. I don't believe in Houston. I'll say it. It's 100% happening. I don't know what. It's 100%. I 100% don't believe.
Regardless, bad guy of the week.
All right, my bad guy. I'm keeping it in the American. My bad guy. Good. Yep. Is the Wichita State athletic director named Darren Boatwright. And the reason why is Darren Boatwright on Friday named Isaac Brown, who is the interim head coach for Wichita State. Greg Marshall obviously resigned going into the season, right as the season started. Isaac Brown, assistant on staff, gets the interim tag. He has now been the head coach all year. Wichita State picked to finish 7th in the American. They are currently at the top-ish. I don't know. It's them in Houston. It's one of those imbalanced schedule things where they're going to play fewer games in Houston, but they I think they split on the season. So who the hell knows how you're going to make sense of it? They have fewer losses, but Houston has like 9 more wins.
Yeah,
so who knows what's going on here? But either way, Wichita State is at the top, near the top of the standing. So at long last, Isaac Brown gets the interim label removed. He is officially introduced as Wichita State's head coach today on Monday. They have a big press conference.
Nice.
He gets a 5-year deal, $6 million. Darren Boatwright drops the bag for him. And there are a couple notes I wanted to bring up. So first of all,
5-year deal.
5-year deal is pretty awesome.
That's always the marker to say that you believe in that coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are these two notes. Number one, apparently Isaac Brown has not taken over the head coach's office at the facility. He has not moved into Greg Marshall's office.
He was like waiting.
Yeah. And so he was asked about it. He was asked, are you going to move into the head coach's office now that the interim tag has been lifted? He said no. He said, I'm going to stick for the rest of the season. Like whatever's working is working well. It feels weird. I'm going to stick it out. So that's kind of a funny visual, is that Greg Marshall's office is apparently just empty right now.
Is it empty?
Yeah, I know.
Because
the manager's probably like moved in. And
there's always like that interesting, there's
always a wild card in the group that's just like,
I left my office completely full at the Ringer. It's still there. Kyle looks at it every day.
That's where Greg Marshall is now.
He's like sitting there. He's like, where's KOC?
He said, I just didn't feel comfortable moving into that office as the interim coach, and I probably won't move into that office until the summer. So there's that. Also, so Wichita State has not played since February 18th because of COVID. They've gone on pause themselves. And that was the game that they beat Houston at home. That was the game that kind of, in the eyes of a lot of people, Isaac Brown earned the right to be the coach moving forward. They beat Houston. So anyway, they have not played in a long time, Tate. It's been a little while. I think they play Tulane this week, and then they're back. But so this is the real reason I picked Darren Boatwright as my bad guy, because the Wichita State athletic director was asked about why now? Why remove the interim tag now? Why not do it the moment that the clock hits 0 against Houston? And if not then, why not wait till the end of the season and do it? And why do it like with 2 games left in the regular season? It feels like weird timing. Here was his quote. We plan on making this announcement early next week between the end of the regular season and the conference tournament. But to be honest with you, we moved it up a week because we lost a week of games. And with the conversations going on nationally about us getting into the NCAA tournament, I didn't want another weekend cycle to go by without our being in the conversation in some form or fashion. We did it on Friday so we could still be at the forefront of the conversation, even though we hadn't played in 8 or 9 days. Genius.
Bad guy move.
That is a bad guy move.
That's what you do.
He literally gave $6 million to his head coach just to get his team
back in the news cycle.
Just to get him in the news cycle. Just to get Wichita State is on the bubble, firmly on the bubble. Like I'm talking like right on the bubble. I don't know how you couldn't be more on the bubble. Picture the bubble. Picture a flat egg bubble.
Yes.
They're square on it. Could go either way. They're definitely in. They're definitely out. Square on the bubble. And Darren Boatwright said, "I'm going to change the narrative. We're going to dominate the conversation.
We're in.
Here you go."
I mean, I think it's beautifully played, and I think this whole story is such a beautiful story out of such a terrible situation, which is, Phoenix rise from the ash, et cetera, whatever you want to say. It is great to see Wichita State, which, I remember Eddie Fogler coaching at Wichita State, and that's when I learned, about Wichita, Kansas in general, and how much, that was like a basketball place. And they have such a love for the game. So the fact that the program seems to be steering in the right direction, I think just from that standpoint, it's a good point for college basketball.
Not to get too sentimental, but this is the kind of thing that does make college basketball awesome because it feels like it can only happen at this level. And I guess I'm trying to think of like other, maybe like Ryan Saunders taking over for the Timberwolves or something. But like, like a situation where, a situation where, as you said, it's a crappy situation. The coach leaves, and then
it's all bad PR.
It's all bad PR.
It's all
and
bad vibes.
The guy who gets anointed, whatever, is someone who the players love. They rally around him. Like this is the kind of, I don't know. It's like out of a movie type stuff.
And a guy that's like worked all the way through the gamut of college basketball, or being a GA, being an assistant, like being at different places.
Never been a head coach.
Never been a head coach
till right now. This is the first time that he's ever been a permanent head, not an interim head coach.
And then I read it in college, like he played for Kermit Davis and then got dismissed from the program. Like he had just like a bunch of stuff that he like worked through early on in his life. So, I mean, it's a great story. I'm pulling for him. I like this Wichita State team. They're scrappy. They kind of more of like what I imagine Wichita State to be in my head when I think about like an identity of a program. And so shout out to them.
Yeah, Wichita State, having them be good is good for
college basketball.
Good for the American too. Cause like that
they
conference.
They need them. SMU too, like
get back.
We gotta
get
on,
that.
Sean.
Cincinnati, what are you doing? Figure it out. My God. All right, Cal's guys. Not much to report. Lost to Florida at home. It's over. It's dead. You got to win the SEC tournament. It starts March 10th. That's the Kentucky update. The SEC tournament starts March 10th. That's the only way in. That's always been the only way in. Let's just fast forward to that if you care about Kentucky at all.
Let's just say this is all made up. If they do win the SEC tournament, like if Kentucky goes on a run, they win the tournament. How high, can they go? Could they be a 6 seed? Could they be a 7 seed?
What will their seed be?
Yeah, what would their seed be? Best case scenario.
So what is their record right now?
I don't even know.
It wasn't like 8 and something.
What, 8 and 10?
It's like 8 and 14 or something. I thought. Let me see. Kentucky.
It would just be hilarious because, I mean, to think that they could be a 12 seed and to be matched up with someone like Oklahoma State,
they're 8 and 14. So let's say, how many games? I wish I had their schedule in front of me. So even if they win like the next 5, 6, the best they could do is 4.
Yeah, 500.
Can they be 500 going to the tournament?
I don't even think so, but yeah.
That's a
it's just funny.
A 13, 14 seed.
Yeah, it's just what do you do? Because they just won a major conference.
Yeah,
and that they have the talent. Like you can see they have the talent.
I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it.
I don't think we have to worry about it either.
All right, Tony guy update. I mean, Virginia was on a 3-game losing streak going into tonight. They beat Miami on Senior Day at home, 62-51. The only notes I would say, one, as we go into March, reminder for all the people out there, Virginia is your defending national champion.
Mm-hmm. Respect your champion.
Number 2, make sense very quickly. We don't have time. We don't have a ton of time. Make sense of the ACC just as a whole. Leave North Carolina out of it. We're not talking about the Tar Heels. We're talking about the big picture ACC because Florida State was the chosen one. They laid a stinker, like
flat egg.
Bad. They laid a flat egg. Bad optics to go into the Dean Dome right after Marquette runs Carolina off the floor, and then Florida State comes in and loses to North Carolina. That's not great for the league. What I mean, like Florida State might be a 3 seed. If I was to tell you no one in the ACC is making the Sweet 16,
not crazy.
Florida State was going to be like a 3 or 4, probably a 3 still.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play like Texas Tech in the second round.
Not a good draw.
Yeah. Virginia's probably going to be like a 4 or 5 and play like Purdue again.
Not a good draw.
Or Arkansas.
Yeah.
Or something.
True. Virginia Tech is not a good draw. They are.
Virginia Tech's going to be an 8.
Yeah, and
something like that.
That's a first round upset. Louisville is interesting.
Clemson's the interesting one. Louisville's they're not going to get a high enough. I mean, like the way it's going to happen is like Louisville or Carolina is like a 10 seed. By the way, I don't know if you've
Carolina as an 11 seed. I love.
Dude, I don't know if you've really like connected the dots or put this together yet. But Carolina's a 10 seed and Ohio State as a 2 seed. It's very much in play. Carolina with the 10-7 upset. We could have a 10-2 game between Ohio State and Carolina. That's in play. I just wanted to draw that to your attention.
I feel it. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what Fox would do.
I don't know. I
don't even think they would let us. I wouldn't watch with you.
I would 100% watch with you. That's 100%.
You like follow me around. To make sense of the ACC, Georgia Tech is my favorite team in the ACC right now.
They're the most likely to make the Sweet 16.
I
think so.
They're like the hottest team. I think that they have. I mean, Josh Pastner, if you haven't seen him, folks, I mean, he should have been my bad guy of the week. He's dancing. He is like having the best time of his life. And Alvarado and, Moses Wright. I mean, these guys, they're a legit team, and they're like throwing down some major dunks, and they're like sending the message.
They're the most likely to like accidentally make the Sweet 16, go on like a Cinderella run.
It's who I thought NC State was going to be. I thought they're going to be like kind of a scrappy team where you're like, man, I love these guards. Like they're really good. Clemson is another team that could be a Sweet 16 team. I feel like
Clemson's not.
We've somehow undervalued Clemson. Yeah, I feel like.
I think so too.
So they're interesting. North Carolina, Louisville, they're on the same playing field. Virginia, Florida State, your best chance.
How many? Call it. Say it's 100% happening right now. How many ACC teams in the Sweet 16?
One.
I think I agree with you.
Florida State. It's Florida State, but barely.
No, I'll say two. I'll say Florida State and then a weird one like Georgia Tech or even North Carolina would be weird. It's not going to be Virginia. Virginia's going to lose to Arkansas by 100.
Mm-hmm.
In the second round, if they even make it, Virginia could be a 12-5.
Virginia Tech could shock me and be in the Sweet 16.
Virginia, you know what's going to happen is Virginia is a Virginia fans, close your ears, don't listen to this. This is your nightmare. This is something that Virginia fans, you probably haven't even thought is possible, but I'm going to say it, and you're going to cry, and you're going to never listen to this podcast again. So please do not listen. Turn it off. Okay, here's what I'm going to say, Tate. Virginia's a 5. Michigan State is a 12 in the first round.
Oh, my God. That's so good. Yes. Sign me up for that. I will watch that. And if that happens, then I will let you know 100% that the Big Ten is winning a title. Yeah. That's 100%. If that's the 5-12
that'd be the cruelest thing that could possibly happen is a committee. Oh, my God.
Make Duke a 15 seed.
Shout outs, closeouts. What do we got?
Oh, man. I want to shout out Coach Hamilton, Leonard Hamilton. After the game, Roy Williams, they come back, get the win against Coach Hamilton, who Coach Ham, God bless him, he's standing over there the whole game. I mean, he was giving the look to his players like, you guys got to be kidding me. He's like, are you guys messing with me today? Like, this is really what y'all going to do? You're just going to lay a flat egg right here in front of these guys?
I love flat egg.
And Leonard Hamilton, after this game, Roy Williams says he should be in the Hall of Fame. I agree with that. Seth Greenberg also echoed that at halftime, said that he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't even know, what the Hall of Fame is turned into. We should start
our own Hall of Fame.
I think
there's too many Hall of Fames.
There's so many.
It's like how is this guy? How's Bob Huggins and Leonard Hamilton? It doesn't make any sense.
Get him in the Hall of Fame. He should be. And then we found out on Monday morning, Leonard Hamilton, another bad guy, agrees to a 5-year extension in Tallahassee.
Wow.
So, Leonard Hamilton. There you go. Look at that.
$11.25 million.
Guaranteed, son. The face of Florida State. Could you imagine that?
That is wild.
An assistant.
Basketball school.
I mean, when you think of
basketball school.
If you ask, basketball school. If you ask your dad, my dad, Leonard Hamilton, what would they say? Assistant coach at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the fact that like he has gone from that with Joe B. Hall, and having to deal with some of the scandals of those times to then being like a staple in college basketball at a football school traditionally. Shout out to Leonard Hamilton.
Shout out to Leonard Hamilton. Shout out to Zach Claus and the Idaho Vandals. The Zach Claus Win-A-Game Challenge has been completed successfully. The Idaho Vandals, you don't want to hear me say this. Well, that's not true. They lost. Thank God. Oh, my God. Because it dawned on me when Idaho won, they then played Montana State again. Montana State beat them. But there's a moment in time when Idaho had a longer active winning streak than Ohio State. And I thought, this is not good. This is not good.
This could not be good.
This could not be good. Idaho got off the schneid. Also, South Carolina State did as well, Tate. They beat Florida A&M. So we officially have every team that is still playing has won a game. Chicago State was the only team that played games this year that did not win a single game. They finished 0-9, then they shut the program down for the season. We did not make Chicago State again this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah, it's always next year.
My hat in the ring. Yeah. But Idaho did it. They're off the fraud power rankings. Spoiler alert for this coming week on the Pac-12 update. So
I
just want to give everyone a heads up.
We knew it deep down in our heart it was going to happen. Shout out to Roy Williams, Coach Roy Williams, the fastest coach to 900 or more wins. Does that on Saturday. The only other coaches that have done that in college basketball, fellow ACC coaches, Coach K and the booger picker himself, Jim Boeheim. Those two guys are the best. Those three, that triangle of coaches, I think. I just wanted to point out, like, we're gonna lose, these three guys very soon. We got probably 5 years a window
from the game.
From the game.
Oh my God, dude! Don't be on
yeah.
that.
Oh
like
my
that.
God, I wouldn't say like that. My goodness, I'm talking about
Jesus,
basketball.
dude.
Like,
get it together.
We got these three guys with 900 wins all together in the same conference. It's funny. Like when we look at the old Big East, you and I joke about it. You see Carnesecca and Big John and all these guys. We're living that right now.
And Leonard Hamilton.
I mean, yeah,
dude.
Yeah. So Hall of Famers.
And not one of them can coach worth a damn this year. That's what's funny about it.
Hey, well, appreciate the good days. Appreciate the good days. 3 titles this century. Congratulations.
I'm sorry,
Roy.
I'm kidding. Florida State's not that bad. Leonard Hamilton's doing a fine job this year. The rest of them, though, yikes.
Man.
Shout out to talking about football school. Shout out to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Clinched the SEC title, regular season SEC title, first title since 2002. Was Gottfried on the bench for that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would have had to be.
He was.
So
1 year away. Man, we got to get him. We got to get him on the program.
We just got to get him not even on the program. Just get
him
him
here.
Just get him. Just get
Coach.
Just like this summer.
Let's ask Coach Lavin to help us.
Dude, me, you, Gottfried, Lavin, Rosillo. We go to Manhattan Beach. We're on the prowl. We're just posted up in a.
That's a starting 5 right there.
That's a starting 5, dude. Lav's got his tracksuit
Billy
on.
Hoyle's like, eat your heart out, kids. Look at those 5 guys.
Rosillo's in the corner taking notes, trying to watch the game. That's going on. Gottfried has a shirt off for some reason.
Yes. No, has had it off.
He's had it off.
Bill Self shows up somehow. We're like, hey, where did you cover him, Coach Self?
Let's go.
Good times.
Yeah, Alabama wins the SEC though. Shout out Nate Oates' program you're building there. That's exciting stuff. And speaking of SEC stuff, Arkansas beat LSU. Arkansas has now avenged 3 of their 4 losses in the SEC. Tennessee beat them. They will not play Tennessee again unless they meet in the SEC tournament. So Arkansas is getting the payback because we talked about on the last show how Alabama smoked Arkansas, then Arkansas got a little payback. They did the same with Missouri. Who else beat them? LSU, duh. So they just did it with LSU. Hopefully they can do it with Tennessee. Hopefully they meet in the SEC tournament. Arkansas can complete the
I believe
hit list here. So.
Yeah, the must bust. We need
anything else?
One more shout out. I wanted to shout out to Dwayne Wade, who took my idea and said Juwan Howard was the coach of the year, and now that everyone's like, great point, Dwayne Wade. You were the coach of the year. Who's this Ohio State fan that hates us? Tell him to stop talking about Juwan Howard as the coach of the year.
People think you're me.
Yeah,
people think you
that is what.
Ohio State
well, no,
guy.
they think collectively you and I went to Ohio State fans, and we have done this. But regardless, Dwayne Wade, one, shout out to you for watching college basketball. I'm not sure if you do, but commenting on it sounds like, you're bringing it into the popular lexicon. That's good news. And also shout out to Juwan Howard. He should be the coach of the year. That's my final thought.
I disagree. I think Mark Few should be the coach of the year.
No.
I think if Mark Few isn't the coach of the year, then what can you possibly do but go undefeated and beat everybody by a million?
Don't call Indianapolis Siberia.
No, I stand by this, actually. I don't think you should announce the coach of the year until after the NCAA tournament, and whoever wins the NCAA tournament should be named coach of the year.
That's a good point.
I stand by that.
I like that.
That's my idea.
Yeah, that's good.
We all came into this with one goal.
It's kind of like MVP in basketball. It's like, just can we wait until the finals and we're all like, that guy's definitely the best player?
We should do it the other way and do coach of the year has nothing to do
season award.
Has nothing to do with on-court stuff. It has to do with like who is basically our good guy of the year.
Yeah, our coach of the year.
Like sure they didn't win a lot of games of basketball, but they won in the game of life too. So that's why.
2 words: Josh Pastner.
That's why Josh Pastner is my coach of the year.
The best.
Coach.
Seriously, he should be the ACC coach of the year. I'll say that too. 100% coach of the year.
All right, let's listen to this. We're gonna say goodbye. Play some voicemails on the way out. So that's the show. Call in if you want to be featured.
Yes.
302-470-8283. The point of the hotline is your team chokes.
Panic
button. Yeah. If you're an Ohio State fan, and you've lost 3 in a row, call in. If you're Oklahoma fan and you're just swept in like a 3 or 4 day span.
If Buddy Boeheim turned into Mike Dunleavy Jr.
Yep. Call in.
Do it.
All right. First of all, I want to say I don't want to cuss a lot, because I know Coach Titus, listens to the show. But what the actual hell, Tennessee? You've lost to a friggin' Auburn team, a guy that 10 years ago was our coach, probably would have gotten us to a Final Four.
That's tough.
And we lose to him, and we would have told him to beat Sands, have a friggin' self-imposed, like, ban for, like, and he's not our coach. Instead, we have a rich man's Tom Crean and Rick Barnes, who has these great teams, gets all these 5 stars, but is he really going to bring us to a Final Four? Because all I want is a Final Four. Also, love you guys. Love the show. I occasionally troll Titus with burner accounts on Twitter. I do it to motivate you. You need motivation. All right. It's not out of hate. Love you guys.
I love that.
Dude, I got to say.
That guy was great.
That was great.
That's who I hope our fans are.
Yeah, that's great. I respect it. But
how did Admiral Schofield and Grant Williams not make a Final Four, though?
Dude,
that's all I'm thinking as I sit here. My God.
Tennessee fans.
Back-to-back SEC Player of the Year.
That's brutal, too, to lose to Bruce Pearl. Like, that's true. That has to be super frustrating. Yeah. I understand why you'd call that. And we want to, God, dude, Tennessee should be better this year.
I like Tennessee basketball as a brand, overall.
Rich man's Tom Crean. I'll never get that out of my head.
Yeah,
I'll never get that out of my head.
Please keep calling back.
All right, do we have more?
Good volunteer.
If you would have told me some Spartans would roll into Maryland, get their ass whooped by some turtles, I would have told you, man, that's some crazy talk. But those turtles, they locked it down so hard. Oh my God. We couldn't even get a shot up. Are you kidding me? Sparty needs to, oh my God. I live in North Carolina.
Respect.
I hear Carolina people talking to me all the time. I have a Big Ten ACC vendetta against my friends. And last night, I was talking so much about Carolina, and they just pull off a big upset. And I was on cloud 9 and about Michigan State beating 5 and 4, and now gotta beat Michigan. All right.
Michigan State fans.
What a roller coaster.
Yeah, they're having a tough ride, but also Mr. March is here. So
you gotta beat Michigan. You gotta beat one of those. One of those. They're gonna win one. You think they're gonna win one?
I think they're gonna win
100%. 100%. It's the end of the podcast. No one's listening anymore. 100%. Lock it in.
Man, I gotta tell you, there's nothing worse than being a Gopher fan right now. I feel like it's just similar to being kicked in the testicles. You're just living in that moment between when the pain really kicks in. It hits you and you're kind of like, oh, maybe we can get through this. And then all of a sudden it just rages. Losing to Nebraska on the road is embarrassing. I'm just hoping for the losing season, the reverse undefeated season for the Gophers on the road. Give me it. Give me all the pain at this point.
One game left, Tate, at Penn State Wednesday. Minnesota can clinch a perfect season of losing every game outside of the barn. And still make the tournament, maybe.
And still maybe make the tournament. And also, there's a chance you could still get an upgrade at coach.
Unbelievable.
Patino to Patino.
Unbelievable. Also, Nebraska beat Rutgers tonight, so maybe that loss isn't that bad, losing to Nebraska. Marcus Carr had 41. Let's focus on the positives, But
there are positives to be found.
I'm hoping for the perfect under. But if they lose in the Big Ten tournament, because that has to keep the barn thing going, too. If they lose in the first round of the Big Ten tournament, they're definitely not making the tournament. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be tough to lose every game away from home and still make the tournament. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. That's the show. See you guys.
Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.